This stuff right here is back when racing was fun. And look at these dates: 2012, 2013. Man, we had a blast back when we were class racing. The clocks were on, and we had Real Street, True Street that was local. We had a blast. So these are some of the trophies and the plaques that we got. We used to have a good car. We had a good team between me, Bill, Randy, and Brian. My car was in the winner circle a lot unless I'd done something stupid. But those days need to come back. The class racing where you don't have to have $1 million stacker to go racing. So what do we need to do to get the clocks back on? We've got the clocks on in some of the X275 races, Ultra Street, Radial versus the World. But, those programs are fast. The rules are out there. Your average budget racer, is hard to compete there. The no time world is hard to compete there because you're dealing with, no weights. You're dealing with, baby pro mods or undercover pro mods, like I call them. I mean, they're the ones that are essentially, they're not much different than it's a purpose-built drag car. It's not much different at all from, a pro mod. And so we kind of joke around and we call our buddy stuff pro mods. But if it's got a stock floor and it's got a stock firewall in it, it's hard to say that's a pro mod. But if there's no stock floor and there's no stock firewall and there's no structural integrity to the car, without all the roll cage, in my opinion, that's an undercover pro mod. Essentially everything on it's fiberglass or carbon fiber, with the exception of the roof. And shoot, even now, the roofs are becoming carbon fiber. So, those undercover pro mods, when you're no time racing, there is no rules. And so it's hard to compete. And, that's why people are, going so fast. And, and it's one of those things, the no time world with the shootouts, it's hard to blend the two because they are, they're separate. No time is generally like your grudge stuff. But at the same time, you got the no time shootouts. And so the shootouts is a class because they're saying, okay, in our shootout, it's no time, we're going to have the clocks off. But, you got to have a 28-inch tall tire. You can't have but a 4.84 bore or a small block with, all cast stuff. Or, you're limited in the size of the turbos. It's a class with just a little bit less rules. But, it's hard to mix no time and class racing, and that's what the shootouts were. And the no time shootouts originally, what I think they were, trying to accomplish is just giving the low budget, no time racer or grudge racer a place to go get in and, potentially win a little bit of money. But the problem is the class racing died. You've only got 2 or 3 big races a year. You can't go out all across the country now and catch a class of some sort every month. That's hard to do. There's not a lot of people that are doing it. And so what's happening is those class racers are now converting their cars to the no time world. So you got the class racers going to no time. And so the two just don't mix. They're very difficult to be compatible. So here comes your stacker, here comes your $150,000, $200,000 no time car. Now it is nice not having rules. I can go whatever, I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do with my car within the confines of those rules. But I've talked to several people and I think the clock should come back on. If you're not grudge racing, we need to all get in our lanes. If you're not grudge racing, if you're not doing a 2-car shootout where your pot is out of your pocket, the clocks need to be on, period, end of statement. That's just my opinion. But it's going to take some promoters to do that and make it happen. The promoters have got to get out there and provide the classes that are going to be there with the clocks on. And it's a win-win. The spectators, you can't tell the difference between a 450 car and a 50 car in the stands. You can kind of tell the difference between a 40 and a 450, but the spectators want to see the boards light up. So when the boards are lit up, the spectators they're going to get more bang for their buck. And so I think you're going to get more people in the stands. I think it's a win-win. The racers, you can celebrate your time. You can celebrate being the baddest of the bad in that class. but we need some promoters to step up and do it. I mean, turn the clocks back on. And there are some promoters out there that are kind of doing a good blend. Carolina No Time is one of those. They don't care if you've lit the boards any at previous races. The clocks are off at their race, but you can be a class car. So they're trying their best to blend the two, and they're doing a pretty good job, and they're getting a good showing. They're getting some good support from the racers. But there's a bunch of racers, a bunch of promoters that, part of their rules in the No Time Shootout is you can't light the boards for a year, or, the car's got to be down, or, you can't even have a change of combination. And so it's difficult. It's difficult for the class racers, for the budget racers. And I hate to say it, but like always, most of the time it's going to be the most money that wins. So having great big pots doesn't help. When you got a $3,000 or $5,000, a $10,000 purse, when you've got bigger pots, you're going to have bigger people coming and running for it. They want to get their money. When the pot's low or it's split up 4 ways or 8 ways, and you've got just, $1,000 total pot, that's going to be more for your budget racers. It makes sense. The more money that you put out there, the higher caliber cars you get. And that's good, I guess, for the spectators too. But we have to, like I said, we got to stay in our classes. And there are no slow classes out there now. There's nobody out there that has a class that is a 550 class. Without doing some type of index. And I think there's a bunch of cars, there that would fit a 550 class or a 50 class. And then, then you have the outlaw stuff. But it's tough. It's out in the South. In the Southeast, we have a lot of racing. We have a lot of tracks. And everything's gone no time now. Let's turn the clocks back on. Everybody's not a no time racer. Everybody's not a grudge racer. I enjoy going to the no time events, but I would much rather have the clocks on so that I could have fun with my friends and my competitors, ribbing them on about how fast my car went or how fast my car didn't go. But just my opinion, mixing the no time world and the class racing. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it.